Welcome everybody to just a beautiful song by Chris. It's just fantastic. Chris Stapleton just nails it on this song. His live versions, I think, outdo the recorded version 10 times over. They're just, that solo acoustic and his voice singing really cut it. So we're going to go over this. We'll speak to the capo as 0. The capo's on the 3rd fret, okay? So everything I talk about, if I say G, really it's B flat, okay? But we're going to talk about G's and so forth. We'll talk about the little inflections that he does to add flavor to this. There's an intro, verse, chorus, there is a bridge, and then another chorus in the outro. So not a whole lot to this, but it's just, again, a beautiful song. So my notes can be downloaded right below the video. There's a link to it. Basically, I put the chords in there that we're playing. So the little inflections and so forth, I'll talk about in the video. If you've just played the straight chords, it's fine. It'll flow fine. But if you want to play it like Chris's, I'm going to talk about how he does it live. I'll put a link to his Bing video, Bing Studios, I think it is. Anyhow, when he does this, and this is, I looked at multiple live videos, but they all kind of follow the same structure and inflections. So you'll be able to play this with whatever live version or even the studio. It works with the studio fine. So like I said, there's a guitar in the studio version that really outshines the acoustic, and it doesn't cut it as well, frankly. So okay, to start out with, basically it's a G. We want to use the G where we're covering with our middle finger, or I'm sorry, our ring finger and pinky finger on the 2nd and 1st string. All right. His first inflection is to hammer into the G from the open E. All right, so that's our first real inflection. Now, the really important thing about this, I don't know if you call it 6/8 time or just an odd meter 4/4, because it works out to 4s. It's strummed as a 1 E and, I'm sorry, yeah, 1 E. It's strummed as a 1 E and 2 E and 3, 4. Okay, before he goes to the next chord. So again with the inflection. And then we move to what's basically a D sus4. So our pinky would be down there. But we're going to move our middle finger to that 3rd string, 2nd fret, and we'll hammer onto that along with the 1st string at the 2nd fret. Alright, if you watch Chris live, he uses his thumb. I'm just not a good thumb over person. So I tend to use my 1st finger with my middle finger coming up to the 3rd string, 1st finger catching the 1st string. So we have this so far. Alright, then we're going to move to an A minor, and it's a 7th. It looks like he's playing an A minor, but he's just got his finger there. It's an A minor 7th. If you notice, his ring finger is off the fretboard. So he's hammering into an A minor 7th. 4th string, 2nd fret, 3rd string open, 2nd string, 1st fret. All right, now when we go to the 3/4, what he does is pick his middle finger up, hit the open 5th string, and then hammer onto the 2nd fret. That leads you into the C. Okay, so we have this so far. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you will see him also add a little inflection here. He will hammer into the 2nd fret of that 4th string. Sometimes he even puts his pinky down to add make it a C add 9. That's just an option. He doesn't do that all the time. Okay, so that is our intro. G to an F sharp over D sus4 to our A minor 7th to our little walk up to C, and then a little inflection there. So then we're into verse 1. So for verse 1, we're going to start out with the G again. Then we're going to move to our A minor 7th. Our walk up to C. Then he moves to a D. Now when he plays his D, he's got his middle finger on that 2nd string at the 3rd fret, and he's hammering in on the 2nd fret of the 3rd and 1st string. And then back to G. Goes through that twice, and that ends the first verse. All right, so the first verse, I'm going to play it all the way through for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wondering, that leads you right into the chorus. That last G begins the chorus. Next up is the first chorus, and then there's the 2nd verse. The 2nd verse is just like what we did on the 1st verse. Then we're into the 2nd chorus. There's a bridge, and then the 3rd chorus and an outro. So really there's only 2 verses, and we just learned them. All right. Chorus is a bit different. We're going to do something very similar, at least the first chord and measure, to the intro. We're going to do our G to our F sharp over D sus 4. Then we're going to hammer into, we're going to keep these first 2 fingers, and we're going to hammer into the 5th string at the 2nd fret. That will be an E minor 7. You can put your middle finger down if you want on the 4th string 2nd fret. It's still an E minor 7, but I noticed Chris just uses his 1st finger because we're going to go up to a C add 9. Right? C add 9 is basically like our G but moved on the 5th and 4th string. All right, so we got G, F sharp over D sus 4, E minor 7th, and then a C add 9th. We'll repeat that again. And then we go to an A minor 7th. Now, this is the end of the chorus. Okay, so we've done the first 2 measures. This last measure is like a turnaround. Our A minor 7th. Then we're going to go to a B over G. So it's like playing a B chord without, or G chord, without the G bass note. Okay? What's the difference between this and an E minor 7th? We're not playing the 6th string. All right? So next we're going to move up to the 5th string 2nd fret, play through that to our C add 9, and then back to our F sharp over D sus4. Alright, and then what are you listening to? Okay, so those are the chords. Again, I've written this out. Download the notes if you're having trouble following through this. I'll actually do a playthrough because it's a beautiful song. I haven't been able to stop playing it. It just sounds so good. So I'm going to play you through the chorus, and you'll see how everything fits together. So here's the first chorus, and again, same thing with the second chorus, played through. Then we start into verse 2. Okay, so we've learned verse 1, same thing, verse 2. Chorus 2 is the same. After the end of what are you listening to? Or into the bridge. Our bridge, I'm going to play the first half measure of it. Alright, what we're doing, C add 9 to our B over G. Then we're going to just take and hammer onto the 4th string, making that an A7 sus4. Then we go back to our B over G and just hammer into that. And then we start again, C add 9. G over B, A7 sus4. Then he goes into this, I wish I knew, I wish I knew. The first I wish I knew is a D. Wish I knew, I wish I. So the first wish I knew is just hammering into our D. And then G. Then we're into chorus 3, all right? Chorus 3 is just like we learned. We'll even do the walk down. The outro is very similar to another verse, but he really kind of quiets things down. So he says, you know, I put the record on, girl, you know what song, and I let it play again and again. So it's basically G, A minor 7th, walk up to C, D, and then G. I think the G is just strummed through. So I'll do a playthrough of this so you can really watch how everything is played and see how all the pieces fit together. But just an extremely beautiful song. At least it touches my heart. So I wanted to learn it and pass it on. Enjoy.